Hey everyone, Steve here for Who Took My Dice Miniature Wargaming, and welcome for the first installment of the Age of Nurgle. We're going to be looking at the other side of the Dark Imperium starter set. I thought, what better place to start than those putrid pus bowls themselves, the Plague Marines. Games Workshop, I think a couple days put up a little teaser trailer with that dark, sinister voice saying, "This is Nurgle's time, the Age of Nurgle has begun," right? And at the end was this little teaser shot of what most people think is the back of Mortarion. I think it is at this point. There's lots of chains, a ragged cloak, so I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably Mortarion, which is really, really cool to see another a Demon Primarch come. I'm excited to see what they do with them. But let's dive in these Plague Marines, all right? So they're pretty cool, and these guys, I like the way they did. It screams Nurgle and just disgust and putrid goo and filth encrusted. It's wonderful. So their troop choice, their power 7, right? So a bit more effective than the normal tactical squad. You get 1 Plague Champion and 4 Plague Marines, but you include up to another 15 to get a power rating plus 15. So they, again, big squads, as is the way with the Traitor Astartes, the Heretic Astartes as they're called now. You can still have those big squads, right? So each one is armed with a Plague Knife, Bolt Gun, Blight Grenades, and Crack Grenades. The Plague Champion is also armed with a Bolt Pistol, so you have multiple options. That's kind of standard for a lot of the Chaos Marines out there. And there's a trend with these guys that runs through the weapons, but on their stats, pretty much the same as any other Astartes, whether heretical or loyal. They are movement 5, so they're a bit slower, which makes sense. They're supposed to be these big, pondering, bloated pus things, right? That makes sense. They are toughness 5, which is pretty much a standard. Leadership 7, 1 wound, 1 attack, or 2 attacks. Leadership 8 for the champion. They have a ton of options, things like the Blight Launcher, which I'm assuming is some sort of grenade launcher. I guess it shoots Blight Grenades. It has the same sort of, it's a bit more powerful. It's range 24, assault 2, strength 6, AP minus 2, D3 damage, and you can reroll wound rolls of 1 for this weapon. That's the trend through all anything that's Blight or Plague this. You have your Plasma Gun, which has a standard or a supercharged shot, like we saw in my other video with the Plasma Incinerators. So you can supercharge it. If you roll 1, the guy's slain, obviously. So you have the Plasma Pistol. You have your Plague Knife, which is obviously a melee weapon. It's the same strength as user, 1 damage. But you can reroll wound rolls of 1 for the weapon. You have the Plague Sword, which is an option to upgrade for the champion. And it's exactly the same stats as the Plague Knife, but you can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon. Total, so not just 1. You have your Power Fist, Blight Grenade, which is much like the Frag Grenade, but again, you can reroll wound rolls of a 1. So yeah, you have a bunch of different options here. Again, no heavy weapons in the squad, which is normal for Plague Marines. If you go back even even at 3rd edition, the sort of fluff behind it was that Mortarion never wanted his Marines to be standing still. They always wanted moving forward. He wanted them to be mobile, assaulting, always moving forward. And the heavy weapon squads, they did that, but your normal squads, that wasn't their job, right? Again, it was kind of the way with all the legions back then. Your tactical squads didn't have heavy weapons. So you can have up to 2 Plague Marines can take bolt pistols, or replace their bolt gun with a Blight Launcher, or 1 item from the special weapon list. The Plague Champion, I said, may replace Plague Knife with Plague Sword, and the Plague Champion may replace his Bolt Pistol and Bolt Gun with a Power Fist and a Plasma Gun, or with items from the Champion equipment list. So obviously there's a new list just for champions. And it says 1 Plague Marine unit may take the Icon of Despair. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that does. Obviously, some sort of icon. I'm not sure if it's meant for summoning demons or boosting morale or some other special ability they have there. Their abilities are Death of the False Emperor. I'm not sure what that does yet. I've been looking for it. I haven't found it. I'm assuming, just by going through some of the past trends, that it may have something to do, much like we have right now with Veterans of Long War, something about maybe hitting easier against loyal Astartes. And then the other rule, and this is what's really cool. So we already know that they're toughness 5. They have a 3+ armor save. They can reroll lots of wound rolls. They have another ability called Disgustingly Resilient, okay? And this is what really makes them Plague Marines, other than, you know, the other stuff. Each time a model in this unit loses a wound, roll a d6. On a roll of 5 or 6, that model does not lose that wound. So it's like Feel No Pain, which is really gross. Their toughness 5. They can, on a 5 and 6, they can just completely ignore wounds. They have the 3+ armor save, which, I mean, is good. I mean, I don't know how many games I won because of my 3+ armor saves, right? It's a slower unit, slightly, but it is a very resilient unit. Things like bolters, even bolter rifles of the Primaris Marines, things like any kind of sort of standard basic small arms fire is only wounding these guys in a 5 or 6. That already reduces the amount of damage these guys are going to take. And then with Disgustingly Resilient, there's even a better chance of them surviving. So this is going to be a really resilient, hard to take out unit for Chaos Marines. So I think that's great. They're doing exactly what they should be able to do. And while obviously there's not a lot of power weapons here, you can get a Power Fist if you want. There's not a lot of power weapons in here, so nothing is really going to instantly start cutting through armor. But I don't think that's sort of the Nurgle way. It's sort of a slowly wearing you down, right? And this is perfect for that with the Plague Knives, Plague Swords, Blight Grenades, and Blight Launchers. So all those re-rolls, they're going to be hurting a lot more than the standard squad. So all in all, these guys, the Plague Marines we have now, are in my opinion, the way that Plague Marines should be. Really hard to hurt, really hard to take down, and when they get to you, they're going to slowly wear you down. There's nothing to do, which is exactly the way a plague or a contagion should work. It should be hard to stop, and it should wear you down slowly until it gets you. That's sort of Nurgle's way. Their keywords are Chaos, Nurgle, Heretic Astartes, Death Guard. Keywords are Infantry of Plague Marines, right? So Death Guard's in there. So I don't know what the new books are going to evolve. You may actually once again be able to build a Death Guard army, which would be really, really nice. Especially if Mortarion is coming out. I say if, it's probably Mortarion in the video. I think that's what they're going with here. We're going to have, especially if they're calling it the Age of Nurgle. I don't think that's the official name, but the voice in it, this is the Age of Nurgle, right? I have a feeling that Mortarion's going to come in. And it kind of makes sense fluff-wise, too. Both Tzeentch and Khorne have kind of had their chances, especially when trying to take out Rabuta Guilliman. They just couldn't do it. Karios Fateweaver couldn't do it. Magnus couldn't do it on the moon, on Terra's moon there. Even Skarbrand couldn't fully shut him down. So I think Nurgle's finally rising up and saying enough is enough. Plus, with all the wars that are happening, this mega battle escalated to the nth degree with the big warp storm pretty much cutting the galaxy and the Imperium in half. There's probably dead bodies everywhere. Contagion is up. So yeah, I can see this Nurgle saying this is my time to shine. And from what I understand about the starter set and the fluff with it, it's actually the Plague Wars around Ultramar, which kind of started off in Book 3 of the Gathering Storm, where it's actually the cool part of it is this weird contagion starts spreading around where people just start like pussing and weeping from their eyes uncontrollably, and everywhere Guilliman went, it disappeared. So at one point, I ever thought, oh my God, Guilliman it's a sign. He's this holy gift from the Emperor, but when he left, it would come back. So he spent all this extra time roaming around, thinking he was maybe potentially curing this disease, until Valdoris, the brother captain there from the Grey Knights, said, "This is not you. This is a trick. This is Nurgle trying to slow you down." And so he finally had to say, "You're right," and let's move on. Obviously, the plagues have intensified. The Death Guard are now in the space of Ultramar. And I guess that's what this one is going to be about, this major battle between these new Primaris Marines and the newly arrived Plague Marines or Death Guard. I'm not sure how they're exactly, if it's going to be the Death Guard or... yeah, so a very, very cool unit. I'm going to look at the other ones soon. There's the Captain or the Lord of Contagion there. You have the drone, all those plague zombie type things, I guess. But yeah, so that's Plague Marines. I think they're very, very cool. I'm really looking forward to see how these guys work on the battlefield. It sounds like it's going to be a really, really hard unit to maneuver. Even with things like having the Hellblaster squad, or even like say the interceptor squad with those. I guess they're supposed to be like heavy bolters, but portable. It's going to be hard to take these guys down, and they're gonna. I think it's gonna be tough to stop these guys. So on there, guys. Thank you so much again. And if you like what you saw, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. It means the world to me, and more you guys can know. And I love seeing my community here grow. It really is awesome. And as always, guys, until the next video, keep rolling those dice. I'll see you later. Bye.